Obviously went on to the next party. We went on to Po, and I was telling you about that, and about the HSBC Classics. I was in the warm-up arena of the cross country and watched on the big screen as William Fox-Pitt, who could have beaten me in the series, had a run out. So after William had his run out, I won $150,000. They did have to replace my canister and my air jacket because I jumped off. Obviously it's quite a difficult thing being in a warm-up and knowing that you've just won $150,000 before you set off. So I spoke to Andrew Nicholson and said, what do you think I should do now? The horse is in the lead again, and do we run him? Of course you should, lad, of course you should. So anyway, on to the next person, who was my vet, Neil. And I said, Neil, you know, are we being greedy? I said, we've won what we came to win, and we've not run him. He said, I can't guarantee you that we'll ever have another run out of this horse again. He said, and I have never seen it as well, sound, better. He said, just go and have a good time, and if this is his last run, I can't guarantee that, you know, the help that I've given him will work again. We're really touch and go. He said it's beyond sort of medication or medical science that this horse still is actually going. I said, you know, he's a complete athlete, and the only reason that he's doing this is because he wants to do it. So we ran the horse, and Quest being Quest, came back. It's definitely had a run, and we sort of iced, and from that point, the next day he jogged up very well. We went into the show jumping in the lead, in the sort of third, fourth star in out of three, I think, and he booted fences out like it was going out of fashion. I think I had about 7 down. Well, I don't know, I'll ask Mark Phillips, he keeps writing about it in his column. Anyway, from that point on, obviously, Carousel Quest in the public eye had this greedy Yorkshire fat lad on him that's won all this money and thinks he's now untouchable and can win any 4-star he goes into. So I took a lot of jip for that. When we got Quest home, obviously, our main concern was what had made him jump like that. He's normally a very good jumper, despite him in the past having a few rails down before he came to me on the third day. And he'd actually picked up a new injury, a cartilage injury, and I was obviously mortified because the horse had won barely and done so much for us, and then it looked like I was greedy for the money, which it did play a part in it, don't get me wrong. I was definitely needing £98,000. And Neil said, well, to tell you the truth, it could have picked it up at any event at any point in the year, and we didn't know it was there. So that's happens, and again, it just makes you sort of think a little bit and take yourself, you know, give yourself a bit of a telling off, and you know, it also makes you not take things for granted. I was obviously on a flying streak, and it ended with quite a bit of a bang. Not as much as a bang as I was about to have, but from that point on, we got him right again, and obviously the aim for all my top horses was going to be Kentucky. I was, you know, at one point people were joking with me saying, "How many are you flying out? 16?" To try and win the Rolex Grand Slam. Things weren't meant to be. We had an absolutely crap winter with snow to start with. It snowed and I was feeling like I was dropping behind time all the while, and things weren't going right, things weren't going as smoothly as they were with horses, and there was no reason I could find. You know, we had blood off everything, things just weren't running as well as, in my mind, what they should have been. And again, that's another experience that has made me shrug my shoulders and say that's horses. But anyway, I picked up a new ride. Again, I'd been looking at the horse for a long time, and the previous rider was pregnant. It wasn't me that got her pregnant, but I would have done if it was the man. bear in mind. Bloody Jim was a double, wasn't it? Anyway, I picked up a fantastic new ride, Ashdale Cruise Master, who, again, being a horse, a talking horse. Everybody'd seen him at 4-star level in England. He'd done a couple of burleys, had a couple of run-outs, and all the top boys were thinking that was going to be their next fantastic horse. And luckily, Oliver managed to get a letter in there first. I got the ride on him. There were, the buttons weren't on quite as how I'd have wanted them to be on. So we ran him in a few events. He was a horse that had always been looked after and not really run competitively. So me, having my style, I dropped the reins and went out the start box competitively. And he used to see the fence and increase at it, stick his head in the air and run at it. And he'd been ridden off at quite a slow stride, so he always had time to. Anyway, I dropped the reins and let him run, and he didn't jump. This was an English national event. It was quite funny again because, as I do, I pick my places, but the course was on quite a tight left bend at this fence, and it was a straightforward galloping fence, upright, but still got a bit of a spread on. And I saw my distance and thought we're on one, and then he stuck his head up 3 strides out and took a dive at it. Really, he took he guessed at it, and I nearly rolled because it was on a tight bend. The fence judge's car was actually parked in front of the fence, but quite a long way away. Anyway, I left at quite a bit of speed and, well, I nearly smashed a windscreen, I think, but I sort of rolled towards this car, and sort of my first thing was, Christ, is he alright? And he got up and was fine. And the fence judge got out at Lincolnshire Horse Trails and said, "We were just joking, will he sign this programme whilst you're here?" No problem. Thinking, oh God, the owners. Anyway, the owners were fine, and that was one thing. The next time out, he won the CIC 3-star at Burnham Market very impressively. And again, Carousel Quest was 100% right. He finished second there in the CIC 3-star, but picked up yet another new injury. He's very delicate, and he wasn't quite right. He wasn't wrong, but he wasn't. So it was decided that we'd take Ashdale Cruise Master, which was a bit of a risky thing because he was a new rider and I'd only done 2 little events on him, well, 2 little events and 1 CIC 3-star. And the other one was Master Rose. And a lot of the riders back in England were saying, "Oh Christ, can you believe Oliver's taking Master Rose? He's green and he's had him from word go, but my God, it's been a bit of a dodgy jumper here and there and whatever. What if he falls off Master Rose and then that Soup horse is in the lead and all this business?" And anyway, Master Rose, as we all know, popped round like a good one around his first 4-star and was just 2 seconds outside the time. So that obviously gave me confidence to get on Ashdale Cruise Master in Kentucky and try and replicate what I'd just done before.